What's going on YouTube? Kamikaze Von Doom here with another Division 2 build video. Now in this build video I'm going to show you my Scorpio PvP build. Now shout out to the DoD, Disciples of Doom. But first, before I show you the build breakdown, let's go ahead and show you some PvP gameplay. And then after the build breakdown, I'll take this into the Dark Zone solo, and I'll show you some solo Dark Zone gameplay at the end. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the PvP gameplay. Be right back, grab your popcorn, and I'll see you in a bit.
Agent down. Serious trauma. Boost about to activate. Rogue striker drone detected. Boost online. Rogue defender drone detected. Agent down. Serious trauma detected. An agent needs assistance. Agent down. Vital signs critical.
Send the specialization supply drop your way.
Agent. Agent down.
You don't have any reinforcements left.
Alright, now that you guys have seen the PvP gameplay, let's get through the build breakdown, and then I will show you the solo Dark Zone with it. Alright, so let's jump into it. Now, to go ahead and give you a disclaimer, the first part of the gameplay, I was not using a shield. Not at all. And reason being is I don't really like shields. However, what I did notice and what you guys could have saw at the end of that gameplay is that once I put a shield on, it was like 50 times better. I don't know what it is with this game and shields, but if you're not running the Lady Death, the Eagle Bearer, or a shield, you're pretty much at a disadvantage. And for me, I'm not using the Eagle Bearer or the Lady Death. I'm using the Scorpio. And the way I was able to counter the Lady Death users and stuff like that is putting on a shield. They have to get through your shield first, and by that time you're already hitting them with the Scorpio, and they're as good as dead. But with all that said and done, let's start at the specialization. So the specialization I'm using is the Technician specialization. The only reason I am using this specialization is because I'm using the shield. Now with the way that this build is put together, you will get the most health for your shield running it this way. If you run a firewall specialization, you're going to lose a tier for your shield, so it's going to be lower in health, and you don't want that. You want the highest tier you could possibly get for your shield. That way you can get behind it, use the shotgun, and just mow them down. So with that, let's look at the shield. You can see I'm only running 2 blue core attributes, but with the technician specialization, it bumps me up to 3 tier for the shield. So with that, I'm at 2.8 million health, just under 2.8 million health for the shield. So 2.8 million, and I'm running 1.1 million armor with a Scorpio that is hitting for a base damage of 1 million per hit. Now, that's without the perfect intimidate. We'll get into all of that. But let's start with the weapon. Obviously, you can't have a Scorpio PvP build without the Scorpio. So here it is, Scorpio Exotic Shotgun. What makes this thing so special is the talent, and we will get into it in just a minute. But let's look at these stats. I'm at 1 million total damage, 130 RPMs, and a 7-round magazine. But if you load one into the chamber, you are able to have a 8-round magazine, which really does help you out. Now I'm going to switch over to the PvP settings because the Scorpio is different for PvP. So make sure you have it in the PvP settings. Alright, now for the attributes, I'm at 15% shotgun damage, 11% damage to armor, and 9% crit damage. So with that, I am currently sitting at 44 crit chance and 114 crit damage. And then don't forget the 11% damage to armor. I'm not running Contractor Gloves or Fox's Prayer, so that's just base, just right out the gate. Now back to the PvP stats. The reason I keep putting PvP stats on is because the Scorpio talent does change between PvP and PvE. So here it is for PvP. Now the talent is called Septic Shock. Shooting a target applies stacks of venom, which lasts for 10 seconds. Increasing the stats will add more debuffs to the target. So if I get 2 stacks, I can apply a bleed. 4 stacks, disrupt. 7 stacks is ensnare, which 9 times out of 10 it's usually like a foam. So you can foam your enemy in PvP with this weapon without using a foam launcher or a foam grenade, anything like that. So that's ensnare. The best part about this weapon is that 8th shot. So you want to make sure you hit your shots on your target, because by that 8th shot, the target will take 20% additional damage from all sources. So just boom, 20% extra on top of everything else. And I'm running Perfect Intimidate, so I get 40% amplified damage on top of that. It's a lot of damage. And if you're watching that gameplay, I think near the end, when I switched over to a shield, I hit the guy with the 8th shot, and it was a no-brainer. He was gone. He whipped out his shield as well. I went through that and got him with the 8th hit, and it was a no-brainer. Goodbye. So that is your Scorpio for PvP. Now for my secondary, I'm running the Shield Splinterer. Shout out buddy I Am Fox on YouTube. He's the one that told me to, dust this sucker off and try it out, and I love it. This one has 90.3k total damage, 850 rounds per minute, and a 50-round magazine. It also has max AR damage and max damage to targets at a cover. The health damage is lacking a little bit, but I personally don't really care. And the talent that it comes with, Perfect Optimist. So every percent ammo you're missing from your magazine, you get 4% weapon damage. Now put that with the Perfect Intimidate, Amplified, have a good day. Now the only way to get this weapon, this is the named F2000 assault rifle. The only way to get this is to kill all of the year 1 hunters and open the ivory chest that is at the base of ops in Washington, D.C. Once you do that, you'll have this weapon, and it'll also unlock it for Cassie Mendoza. But alright, so for the attachments for this, because the attachments for the Scorpio is the same for everybody, but for my Shield Splinterer, I went with crit chance for the optic, crit chance for the muzzle, and then of course a extended mag to give me more of a magazine size. Now going to my sidearm, nothing special. It's a double barrel off. Not really using it because I am using the Scorpio, but if I did have to use it, it's hitting at 1.4 million total damage with max shotgun damage, 10% damage to armor, and 4.5 rate of fire. It also has close and personal, so if I am using this in kill somebody, it grants me 30% weapon damage for 10 seconds. So pretty easy. Kill an enemy with this, switch back over to the Scorpio, have a good day. Pretty simple. Now looking at the build itself, it's pretty cookie cutter. The only way you can actually run it to get the most bang for your buck. The reason I say that is you have to have 4 pieces of Hunter Fury. That way you can get the 4-piece talent, which gives you amplified damage. You also have to run the Hunter Killer chest piece with Perfect Intimidate. So that's there. And then you have to run Badger Tough with Adrenaline Rush. The reason I'm saying this is the only way to make this build is because you can't run a Golden Gear backpack, it's not going to work. You can't run a Badger Tough chest piece because you can't get Perfect Intimidate from that. And you don't want to use the Hunter's Fury backpack or chest piece with this build. So this is like the only way to put it together. So Badger Tough backpack with Adrenaline Rush, Hunter Killer chest piece, and then 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury. So there you go. Only way to make it. So with that being said, let's look at the build, a little deep dive. Starting off with the mask, Hunter's Fury mask. Now I did tell you I am running the 4 pieces, and I am not running a backpack chest piece, so we don't have to worry about any extra talents. However, for the gear set bonuses for Hunter's Fury, I get 15% shotgun damage and SMG damage. I'm not using SMG, but it's nice to have. I also get 20% armor on kill and 100% health on kill. Now yes, you could pair that up with Gunner, get more armor on kill that way, but this is PvP. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the initial kill. I'm not worried about getting armor on kill. That's a completely different playstyle and mindset. For this, I am just looking at killing the enemy that's in front of me, moving on to the next enemy. And the way to do that, in my opinion, is to run that Technician specialization. That way you can have a stronger Crusader shield, and all you need to do is hit your shots with the Scorpio, and they will die every time. The only way I've been dying is if I'm shooting 2 or 3 enemies at once, and then eventually I die. You saw that in the gameplay. I wasn't losing any 1v1s. I would always either get shot in the back while I'm shooting somebody, or I'm taking on 2 or 3 enemies at once, just being, you know, a little overzealous. But the way that I do it, run the Technician, get the higher Crusader shield. That way you don't have to worry about it, and all you have to do is hit your shots with your Scorpio, and you're good to go. Back to the Hunter's Fury. That is the 3-piece. Now the 4-piece gives you the talent Apex Predator. So enemies that are within 15 meters, you'll see a little icon over their head. It's the Hunter's Fury icon in red. And as soon as you see that icon, you know for a fact you are getting 20% amplified damage just by doing nothing. And then whenever they're within 10 meters, you have the Adrenaline proc and the Perfect Intimidate proc. So all of a sudden you're at 60% amplified damage with bonus armor and a shield. So it's pretty much, you know, you're an unstoppable tank. Now let's see, Apex Predator, boop-a-doo, and then the bottom of this talent, killing a debuffed enemy, that will disorient all the other enemies within 5 meters. Now those enemies that are disoriented, you get an additional 5% amplified damage for 10 seconds, and that can stack up to 5. So technically, if we want to get technical, you can get up to 65% amplified damage just by running this build. Put that with the Scorpio and that 8th shot that gives you 20% more damage on top of that, and you're sitting pretty good. Now enough about that, let's look at the attributes. So this one's God rolled. I have max weapon damage and crit damage. And then for the mod, I throw on there a max crit chance mod. Let's just go over all of the Hunter's Fury real quick. Hunter's Fury gloves, max armor, max crit chance. Hunter's Fury knee pads, max weapon damage, max crit damage. And finally the Hunter's Fury holster, max weapon damage, max crit damage. So those are your Hunter's Fury pieces. Now like I said, this is the only way to make this build the way it is. So with that being said, let's look at our best in slot chest piece. This is the Hunter Killer chest piece. Let me go ahead and throw out the disclaimer. So the Hunter Killer chest piece, the only way you can get this chest piece is to kill all of the year 2 hunters. Once you kill all of the year 2 hunters, you can open up the off-white chest that is in the Haven base of ops in New York City. So again, you have to kill all of the Warlords of New York hunters. Once you do that, you'll get all of your off-white keys, go to the Haven, open up the off-white chest, and there you go. After you open up that chest, Cassie Mendoza will sell this chest piece every single week. So if you don't get a God rolled right off the bat, you'll be able to get one eventually from Cassie herself. Now enough about that, let's look at the chest piece itself. Now Golem Gear, the brand set bonus I get is status effects. That is cool, but I have noticed that they don't really go with Scorpio that much at all. So it is what it is, status effects, but all we care about is the talent. Perfect Intimidate. Now look, it says 40% amplified damage. If I toggle PvP to PvE, again, 40% amplified damage. So this does not change whether you're in, the Dark Zone, Conflict, Open World. We're going to get all this amplified damage. This build is even better in PvE than it is in PvP. But I was told, to try out a Scorpio PvP build, and here you go. I love it. Now, as far as the attributes, max weapon damage, max armor regen, and then max crit damage. I do wish I had crit chance right there, but it is what it is. And then for the mod, more crit damage at 12%. And then finally, the last piece of this puzzle, Badger Tough backpack. And it needs to have Adrenaline Rush. Now the problem I had is I couldn't find one with Adrenaline Rush, so you can see on the screen there that it's modified, meaning I had to wait until I had like a maxed out backpack and then just roll Adrenaline Rush on there, which I did. Now this backpack, let's actually start with the brand set bonus. With it being Badger Tough, the brand set bonus I get is 10% shotgun damage. This is how I get my Scorpio up to that 1 million damage total, just as like a baseline. Now as far as the attributes, I'm at max armor, max crit chance, and max skill haste. Obviously I don't want the skill haste, but remember I had to roll the Adrenaline Rush, so it is what it is. And then for the mod, I chose more crit chance at 6%. And that is the gear pieces for this build. 4-piece Hunter's Fury, Hunter Killer chest piece, and a Badger Tough backpack with Adrenaline Rush. Now as far as the skills, I was using a Jammer and Explosive Seeker, but I did notice that to Lady Death players, that nature, it's better to shield with your shotgun, because the shotgun shoots very, very slow. It does do a lot of damage, but it shoots slow. So with that said, once you have that shield, while your recoil's going on, you're about to get ready to shoot again, all those incoming bullets can hit the shield. You can just, focus on hitting your shots, killing the enemy. That's why I switched to the shield. And then when I switched to the shield, I switched my specialization from gunner to technician. That way I could get a better shield for defensive purposes. But alright, so Crusader Shield, this one is just under 2.8 million health, tier 3. For the mods, shield health for the Top right, top left, again, shield health, and then bottom right, holstered regeneration. And then for my other skill, like I said, jammer pulse, and I'm using a radius mod and effect duration mod. And that one is a tier 1. The shield is a tier 3. Now finishing off with the stats, this is for the Scorpio. 1,015,000 damage, and in PvP it goes down to 36.7 damage. I'm at 40 crit chance, 114 crit damage, and 11% to armor. Go to the offensive tab. I am at 70% all weapon damage bonus, and 55% shot damage bonus. So every time I'm using the Scorpio, I get 125% damage bonus total with my shotgun. Now, refresher for the gear talents, I am using Adrenaline Rush with Perfect Intimidate and 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury. Now for the defensive, I'm at 1.1 million armor, 220k armor on kill with a little bit of armor regen, and then of course I have that 100% health on kill, which my health is at 331k, and it is what it is. Now let's see, that is about it. So a little bit of skill haste, but a lot of that is just due to the watch level. So this is my little disclaimer for the build. I am watch level 1472. So with that being said, if you are not over, dude, what is up with that camera angle? Jesus. Again, what is up with that? That's so weird. Gotta love it. There we go. Okay. So if you are under shade level 1000, you're not going to have the same stats as I do for this build. Just because this watch helps you out with a lot of stats that a lot of people don't really understand. So make sure that if you're trying to copy and paste my build to yours, make sure you're over shade level 1000. That way the stats are the same. But if not, it's not a big deal. Just remember that the build can get better as you go just because of these stats that you get from the watch. So just remember that. Because for, let's see, offensive, weapon damage, headshot damage, crit chance. I mean, those are pretty vital. For defense, total health, armor, hazard, and explosive resistance. Again, those are pretty big. Now for a shotgun, the biggest part is the weapon handling. You get accuracy, stability, ammo capacity, and reload speed. Those are all vital for a shotgun. So remember, level up your watch level, get it up above that 1000 mark milestone, and then you're good to go for the rest of, whenever. I did remember the devs were saying that in year 3 they're trying to figure out a new way to progress or level up in some way. So the more you level up this watch, the better it is for you in the long run. But alright, that is the build. This is my Scorpio PvP build, and let's go into the Dark Zone. Alright, so for the Dark Zone, invaded, we have DZ East. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to find, a heroic landmark and just solo it. It's just, why not? Just to show you what it's like to, solo this in the Dark Zone. Doo-doo-boop-a-doo.
Access granted.
Alright, and here we are. We are in DZ East, and let's find a landmark. Doo-doo. There we go. There's a heroic right there. Right outside of the gate. Alright, let's go into the Dark Zone. We'll knock out a heroic landmark and get out of here.
Contaminated gear detected. detecting contaminated gear.
Target coming up the side!
Was up and running. Enemy is close!
Target!
Contaminated gear detected.
Feel dizzy!
Now detecting contaminated gear. Rogue Hive detected. Nearby rogue agent killed.
Access to this area is restricted.
Rogue agent neutralized.